Chapter 9, Lydia and Armalius, Lilith and Aramalius. Here are the names given us for the individual couples who came from the two large portions of the original first being's cleaned energy. The two new sets of Source Spirit. It was thought that by making the new sets with a higher vibration, higher frequency, that they would be easier to control. That's definitely not how things turned up in the end. The largest part of the new clean Source Spirit energy field, 4/5 of it, was removed and separated into two parts, one larger than the other. The frequencies of compassion, heart, and massive fortitude were placed in the larger of the two source fields. The two Source Spirit fields each began to separate into male and female parts. The larger field, with the massive heart and fortitude frequencies, was manipulated, while the other one wasn't. This was for good reason. This field was manipulated so the female portion would have about 56% of the heart, which leads to compassion and love. And it would contain only 0.71% negative frequencies. This larger, new, clean female source field would be called Lilith. Her focal point, or strongest energetic section, would be called Lily. The other half would be known as Aramalius, the clean male source field. He was the most powerful of all the new clean male source field, all the new clean spirit. His negative frequency index was at 2.081%. He was given about 84% of the fortitude from the two of them, and about 67% of the total mass from the clean source field removed. These percentages are approximate, but they are close enough to understand the relationships between them. Lydia and Armalius. Lydia and Armalius, while still a singular field of Source Spirit, began to separate first. They began to vibrate until they came apart into male and female. Their format was never to have a life, as the original mother and father, and oversee all that happened in the second dimension or other side. For our planet, the names Lydia and Lilith represent soft words that flow off the tip of the tongue. The name Armalius means malleable armor. This armor was necessary to protect the male source spirit from the original negative vibration source spirit in the beginning. This armor has actually been seen by a few metaphysical practitioners often called psychics, as a silver energy coating that surrounds me. It moves in all directions at all times and in and out of itself as energy does in the first dimension. Each of you is special. This is why I capitalize words like animal, human, plant, fae, planet, star, and angel. You are all very important to each other, and even more so to me. You are the reason I exist. There is an incredibly vast living family out there, and it's time for the physical bodies to become more aware of each other. Lydia and Armelius did very little all through time other than carry out small errands for the original male and female first beings. Lydia and Armelius were prevented from learning how to run lives. The original first being, male and female, wanted to keep them subservient and unable to be able to replace them, at least for the moment. This leaves little to mention about them at this time. Lydia's spirit was less than 2% negative frequency energy with a lot of deep green healing. She also had a soft earthen brown aura from the planetary spirit part of her. Remember, Lydia was a source spirit containing all the original frequencies minus 97% of the negativity. She never had a life and is now stored, waiting for the new creation. Lydia was never given the opportunity to learn, grow, or allowed to understand more than simply existing to take orders from the original female being. This was not just a shame, it is another form of abuse. Lydia was not allowed to become her full self. There will be more to tell about her and her actions in the next book. This is all that fits here for creation's beginning. Armelius was Lydia's male counterpart. He was literally Lydia's source spirit mate, or other half. His energy had one heck of a lot of hope in it. This particular frequency has an aura of light blue. It is like clear blue sky. The stone that relates to this is the Larimar. Armelius also had some deeper blue auric energy. This frequency is that of affirmations, making up one's mind fast and decidedly about things. This energy can be felt in the stone azurite. Armelius was always my brother, as spirit that is, and he is now also waiting to be awakened with Lydia in that single dimension created to store and protect all in it. Nothing can get in there but air. I can't reach the words necessary to describe the new creation coming your way. It will change all things in all dimensions, everywhere, for everyone. Lilith and Aramelius. Lilith and Aramelius were to be the female and male source spirit that continuously had lives in order to understand as much as they could about living. They were to control that aspect of creation, the lives of all beings. The original pair never expected this would lead to their eventual downfall. The massive growth of love, compassion, honor, protection, and understanding within their focal points, Lily and Era, was their undoing. Lilith was a very strong female source spirit. She also had very deep green healing aura coming from her frequencies. That's relative to healing mother energy. She had lighter blue of hope within her also. Remember, all frequencies exist within her, but these were most prevalent. Lilith, focal point energy, Lily, would have a life, and upon leaving body in death would flow back into Lilith and release new, stronger energy from having had that life. This process allowed Lilith to grow into the mass that she is. She is in stasis now, waiting to come out. Lilith's story is also further revealed in the next book to come out. Lilith's, that's where it's more prevalent and important. Era Melius was huge from the very start. As you remember, he was made that way to protect everything. It's a decision the original first male and female beings took very seriously, especially the male. He was concerned that Era Melius might eventually become strong enough to be a problem. The strongest part of Era Melius, his energy focal point, is called Era. He's had over 10.846 trillion lives, each averaging 2.237 years by the way we measure time on this planet. He also had an average of 27 years in between lives. If you use these numbers, you can get a basic idea of how long creation has been having lives. Aside from the original first being, it's a little over 2,863.34 trillion years as we measure time on this planet. On many of the younger planets like Earth, we measure time by their rotation of the planet and its revolution around the sun. Each time Era finished a life, he would come out stronger again. He would then flow into Era Melius and release his energy to enable Era Melius's growth. One thing to remember here is that the source of the growth, Era himself, was always going to keep the majority of his energy. Era and Lily became serious powerhouses of source spirit because they had lives. I like to call this creator in a can. Era Melius had grown to 2.3 times the size of the original first being before it divided itself into the first male and female. Aramalius' complete energy can't come close to fitting in this universe. Not by a long shot. There has never been anything comparable to him in either size or power level. Era's power was stronger, but his energy field smaller in size than Aramalius's. The main part of Aramalius was never in a body. It existed on the other side, like his brother Armalius. Aramalius never did a whole lot, really. Along with the increased power level given to him by Era, he also received knowledge about compassion, honor, and other experiences that came from having a life. One thing you need to understand is that there's a big difference between seeing something or receiving a basic memory and actually experiencing it firsthand. For example, you can watch someone rebuild an automotive engine on television, but no matter how many times you watch it and think you understand it, you will fail when you try to do it yourself. After numerous attempts, you might finally succeed, but you have to have experienced it first. A better analogy is that of sailing, because it's more personal. You can sit on a beach, watch a sailboat go by, and say that it looks like fun. The thing is that until you're actually on the boat, feeling the wind in your hair, the ocean spray in your face, the excitement in the sail to catch the wind, and the fear of tipping over, you won't really understand it. There is a very real difference here between knowledge and understanding. Knowledge must be consumed by the heart and then reincorporated with the brain before it can become understanding, which is then shared with both the heart and the brain. Knowledge without the ability to understand it is like a book written in a language foreign to you. Now let's get back to the rest of the clean third of the original source spirit, as 4/5 of it had already been removed. There was still another 5th left. Please understand that this was still a huge field of source spirit. From the spirit came the initial fields of essence: human, fae, fairy, animal, plant, and universal. The universal fields of essence contain planetary essence, female universal essence, and star essence, male universal essence. Chapter 10. The initial fields of essence spirit. The fields of essence. The first fields of essence I'll talk about are the human and fae essences. These two forms of spirit are so close to each other that they couldn't be cleanly divided. There is some of each of them in all of them. That is how similar they are in spirit. However, the lives they're given are much different. The Fae can make bodies and release the semi-physical structure of them at will. It takes some effort, but they can do it. As physical human bodies, we are now stuck in them. The Fae are not. They stay mostly spirit energy. We'll talk more about them later. Another field of essence to discuss is animal essence. With only a few more recent exceptions, all animals have animal essence only. There was a change made a short while back that allowed some animal bodies to have human essence, and even some human souls put in them. It started a little over 1 trillion years ago. This is a good time to mention that spirits started having physical lives over 2,863.34 trillion years ago as we measure time on this planet. That's quite a while, folks. The animal bodies given human or Fae essence or soul on this planet are Bigfoot, dolphin, a few birds, and a few horses. The Bigfoot beings were brought here in the Second Age, which was a very long time ago. Bigfoot beings were solely animal spirit. Then they were known for their ability to outmaneuver most hunters, so they were brought here by some of the earlier aggressive races to hunt for sport. Many of the Bigfoot outwitted their captors and over time assembled their own small hidden colonies. When the Second Age was collapsed by fire, they again survived with a little help from Era and body. Bigfoot beings now have mostly human and Fae essence or soul in them. Some still have animal essence. We'll discuss the other animals later. I can't find the words to give animal essence the credit it is due. There are no words for such a thing. Beings with animal essence have very short, difficult lives that occur one after the other. All these beings do in their lives is serve others. They help the planet they're on. They help humans in physical bodies by giving them the opportunity to learn compassion, living in the moment, as well as many other things. Animals are also abused by humans for their own pleasure or profit. Other humans who have compassion and see this abuse will feel pain, thereby increasing the stress put on their spirit while in body. This also creates the abuse frequencies I mentioned earlier. This is a bad for everything. This will stop. There is no spirit with a greater sense of honor and compassion than animal essence. Beings with animal essence have had more lives than the others, except Liliana. Because their lives have been so short, they have lived and died more often than any others through their extensive almost countless lives. They have become quite unique. The wisdom of animal essence is paramount on the other side, yet they are still not properly respected. This is too changing. Animals now reside at M66, where Lily and Era live in the second dimension. This is the home that Era built a long time ago. The honor and compassion of animals is unequaled in creation. Now let's talk about the field of plant essence. The vast majority of people are completely unaware of the fact that plants have a kundalini also. This is to say they are two separate spirits within their core energy. Their physical bodies have their own personal spirit as well as part of the spirit of Gaia, the spirit of Earth. People also have their own personal planet essence spirit. Plants and trees are all alive in ways not accepted by today's faulty thought processes. This was done on purpose and is slowly being corrected today. As spirit, we talk through feelings, images, and understanding. There is an understanding in all feelings. That's what we share on the other side more than anything else. Although we share image and more, it is through the energy frequencies behind the feelings that we do most of our communication and self-expression. Once I was relaxing in thought on a rock in a river near my house and talking with all the spirits in the water and animals around me. And when I got up there to leave, I was hit hard with a loud question. When are we leaving, Father? The question came from a line of trees across the river. I've communicated with them individually before, but never with that many at one time. I felt sad with their question and replied appropriately. Plants give us fruit, a way to help sustain ourselves without killing something else. It's a gift that benefits us as well as the plants. As fruit usually carries the seed for the continuation of the plant species. The plants take our carbon dioxide in and release oxygen. They help keep us alive. Tell me again, please, why do the human race kills so many of them? Do we have a hidden death wish? This is a reflection of greed, control issues, and more that we experience from the physical bodies. There is a pattern we'll discuss later. Plants are much more aware of us than we are of them. Plants are our silent partners in life here on Earth. They have given themselves their physical bodies to supply us the lumber to build homes, shade to relax and eat, fruit to eat, and so much more. Plants are slaughtered without a single thought about their value to us, let alone their right to live as silent, sentient beings. This sounds rather far-fetched to most people, yet it demands consideration. Does every sentient being not have rights? If this is so, then what about everything else? Respect for all things is now starting to awaken more of us. I first found this reality for myself one day while looking at the beautiful white beech tree just outside my back door. It's where the Fae have brought me gifts. Maybe the greatest of these gifts is the amulet I wear all the time. It's the royal amulet of the Father Fae. The relaxing rock that the Fae made for me came from there too. One day I was just relaxing in my chair, gazing out at this beautiful tree when, just for the right reason, my eyesight went out of the focus and became a little blurry. Then I could see the spirit within the tree. It was the most beautiful mix of white, beige, and green colored light. It was beautiful, strong, and very alive, as in sentient. I've always talked with trees and almost everything else since I was a child because I wanted to. It just seems natural. I grew to understand why trees and plants are real. They are alive. The last but not least field of essence to bring up is universal essence. This field of essence was made larger than the others for a good reason. It had to be. Female universal essence is found only in planets. That's what I call planetary essence. This should feel quite normal to most of you, as it takes a loving mother's energy to take care of children. Make no mistake about it, these bodies and all physical beings on this planet belong to the earth, all of them. We do not own this planet. The truth is that our bodies come from and belong to her. We all belong to one large family of rather unique beings. The reason that beings from other planets usually, but not always, look a bit different from us is that their bodies came from different planets. Beings from other planets are composed of different materials, just as components of the human body are found on Earth. You see, the truth is simple when you just let it be what it is. Now let's look at male universal essence. This is energy unique unto itself. It has the ability to warm a planet in order to give it life, or cause a supernova and destroy a galaxy. The universal essence within stars, which is always male, is very powerful. We are all aware of that. That's enough for the quick summaries of the initial fields of essence. Now let's start looking at the closer things